Hey everyone, we got the front coilover conversion done and we need to get the back shocks and springs installed. So we've been doing a lot of planning, research, and contemplating Oni's modifications. A little bit of gambling is involved and we are trying to go into each mod with our eyes wide open. For all the suspension parts for the front and rear, we paid $1,200 for the setup. And the question is, was it really worth it? To answer that, we need to get the rear shocks done and see. In the coilover kit that we bought from BC Racing, made for the Hyundai Velociraptor, came with both the front and rear suspension upgrades. You can watch that video about the coilovers here. As we try and build this channel, please like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment, ask a question. Okay, back to the springs. This whole process was pretty straightforward except when it wasn't. We removed the shocks and springs. The only difficult bit was getting a wrench up near the muffler to get the shock off. Then, once it was all taken apart, we put on our thinking caps to try to figure out how to make it all work.
Much later.
We think we figured it out. Oni has a cone with a small rubber bump stop on the spring seat, and the Velociraptor springs have a slight taper, and Oni's original springs don't have that taper. Because of the slight taper, we could not use the lifting/lowering hats that came with the kit. But we could still use the coil spring upper and lower rubber spring isolators that came with the BC Racing kit. Oni's isolators were pretty dry rotted. After that, we figured out the next thing was to sort out the shocks. Because the shocks are adjustable, we did a spline count to make sure the left and the right were the same height. And then we had to push out the bushings because they were for a Velociraptor and not a Daihatsu Kei van. We ended up having to use Oni's old rubber bushings and have new ones on order because they are a little sad. So now that we have the shocks installed and the coilovers installed, should we have spent that $1,200 on the setup? Maybe. We are really happy with the front coilovers. They have increased the drivability of Oni, which was the most important goal. The wind still sucks, but we don't feel like we're gonna roll over with the slightest little breeze, and we don't bottom out going over every little bump. All in all, we are really happy with the modification to our suspension. If we could go back in time, and hindsight is always 20/20, we would have just bought the Hyundai Velociraptor front coilovers, and then bought individual springs and adjustable shocks for the rear. Yes, this would have taken more research that we didn't do. Because the kit does not directly fit perfectly, we will have to modify Oni in the future to be able to use the adjustable hats that came with the BC Racing setup. Now,
Good news, everyone.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of that.
shut up, Bender. Oni got a sponsor. Anyways, watch the next video and see how we install some badass seats.